कंसचानूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। We salute Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the destroyer of the demons, Kamsa and Chanura, the dear darling of the mother Devaki, and the Guru of the world. Om, peace, peace, peace. So we are back to our reading of the Bhagavat, Srimad Bhagavat, book number 5, chapter 6. There we are reading that Rishabha's end. So the king Parikshit said, O great one, in the case of those who are established in the Atman, they have already burned the seeds of karma in the fire of yoga. Then how can the powers of yoga that have come to them automatically prove to be a bondage to them? Why did the Rishabha refuse to accept them? So that is the question, that if sound is too high now,
Loud.
I think you will say.
No, it is okay.
It's okay.
It is okay.
So if in the case of those who are established in their Atman, they are established in their own self, they have burnt out all the karmas naturally. So seeds of karma, because they did some yoga practice. So how can again the powers of yoga that have come to them automatically prove to be a bondage for a realized soul? Before that, these powers come and they are bondage to spiritual illumination, because people then think, I am powerful, I am doing miracles. And if you show miracles, thousands of people will be flocking around you. You look at the world, they have yogic power, they can utilize it for spiritual growth and development, also for earthly benefit. Name, fame, power, people will be flocking around, thousands will be around. But if you exhaust your karma, good karma, yoga practice, power came, and power exhausted. That's why that is the bondage. When temptation like that, name, pain, these types of thought comes in the mind, that is a distraction for spiritual life. That was the question, that how then that yoga that have come to them automatically proved to a bondage. And that's why the holy people, Ramakrishna, he used to refuse the yogic power so vehemently. Anything coming, reject them, reject them. Oh Ma, don't delude me in your world bewitching Maya, this, that, no. See, the last temptation. So this is the big bondage if you cannot succumb them and overcome them. Then Sukadev said, that is the response. We have read this, but I'm just linking them. What you say is true, but though the mind has been controlled, it cannot be trusted too much.
So if like an avatar, like Christ or somebody who has real natural power initiates people, does their power get diminished, or are they beyond that?
Yes. If one utilizes it for the good of others, then it does not. But when it is used for selfish motivation, then it goes away, because you are connecting to your name, the human body, human name, human prosperity, fame, wealth, so much lordship, all these things come. Naturally, you are spending that money which you collected in a negative way. But if it is for for the good of others, without any selfish motivation, so there is no self. So nothing to go from here. Because you are there like a conduit. It is working through that conduit without affecting anything of the person who is dedicated to God. So the Sukadev's answers, what you say is true. But though the mind has been controlled, they have done much yogic practice, but this fine tendency is very difficult to overcome. They may overcome the gross things, but subtler and subtler and subtler becomes the struggle. And if you go to the very subtle level, many people will find that they don't care about worldly life. It's very simple. But you touch their intellectual point, one point, they will be like a cobra. No, they cannot tolerate that intolerant there. That means this thing has run to the subtle area. So similarly, as you purify but control the mind, but still you have to master the mind in such a way mind nullifies. So now, that's why he says, though the mind has been controlled, it cannot be trusted too much. Because the best of the yogis do not do so, do not trust their mind, knowing it is fickleness and untrustworthiness. You may have done, I have done yoga so much, my mind is totally controlled. Huh? Don't be so much reluctant, or it's very easy. I have conquered my mind. No? Ramakrishna one time, he said that I thought that I have conquered lust. And something little, something came. And he cried, Ma, Ma, I will never boast like that. Please, please, please forgive me. Huh? See, showing that mind, though you have your spiritual practice and you do yoga and do all these things, but never be too much boasted about your controlling the mind. It is very tricky. And it may just topple down this way. The best of the yogis do not do so, knowing its fickleness. Just as a determined hunter would not trust a captured animal with any freedom. Right? Suppose you have captured one animal, tiger, or a very strong, powerful animal. You have captured. Okay, let the tie goes loose. I don't care. I have conquered. I have power. It can devour you anytime because the power is there to destroy the peace of it. So it is said, do not compromise with your fickle mind. This is for us all to learn. How much spiritual progress you may have done, but never think that you have controlled your mind and you are safe. You are safe only when you are in samadhi. When you come down, and then you will find that it may just every spiritual seeker goes through a very tough time. That's why regular spiritual practice is very important, and not to trust on mind, rather humble, and purify the mind. Then it will come. Mind will come to a point mindless. You cannot call him mind anymore. That is so pure that fickleness, that tendency is lost from it. That's why Ramakrishna defined it. Shuddha mon, Shuddha buddhi, Shuddha atma, ak. That means when your mind is extremely pure, purest of the pure, Shuddha, pure, that mind is Shuddha mon, Shuddha buddhi. Your understanding becomes so clear and distinct, like transparent. You can see there is no barrier between outside and inside. Transparent glass, no tint of any darkness or any cloud or any something to abstract you from that reality. So until then, you cannot trust your mind. And that pure state is almost your that is pure Atma. You don't say it mind anymore. Mind reaches that type of purity, then you can say it is no more mind, it is the Atman itself. And there is no fear in that state. But still then, so long the mind is there, ups and downs is possible. But long practice makes it easy.
At that stage, what's the nature of the individual or the individuality or personality?
That time, individually it will remain. He can, in a good mood, he will be behaving one way, in a bad mood, he will be behaving another way. Like we are behaving under the, see, we are controlled by our own mind, no? My mind says it's bad, then I say bad. When mind says it is good, I accept it. And I follow what mind dictates. But when you practice, you say, hey, mind, I am not listening to you. I say, think of this is true. Upanishad says this is true, not what you are saying, that is true. So the sages say this, that is truth, not your mind, what is teaching you to do. It's confusion. I don't believe it. Because mind always will say, suppose you have some confusion about God. In meditation, you said something and you saw something hodgepodge, and you think that I have, that is true, I have seen myself. But your experience, that's why your experience is meaningless unless it can be verified with the experiences of the sages which has been mentioned in the Vedas, in the Upanishads. That's why you should match your experience with the scriptures. That's very important. Ramakrishna, when he was just having so much ecstatic experiences, some of the great pandits came and they're saying my body is having this reaction, burning sensation all over the body, and I cannot sleep. Day and night I cannot think of anything but God. But this is happening, and then everyone says he's a crazy guy. He has done too much wrong things. That's why he's having this reaction. But this Pandits, once she said that, oh, that Bhairavi Brahmani, the teacher, came, seeing the condition of Ramakrishna. He said, oh, yes, it has happened in the life of Sri Chaitanya. See, in the life of Sri Chaitanya it happened. The body becomes so much heated. It is said, when that type of when emotion, spiritual emotion comes, pangs of separation for God comes, body emits tremendous heat. And that heat, even the bark of the trees becomes burned as it were. And the Bhairavi Brahmani said, my child, Ramakrishna, he said, my child, this has happened with the Sri Chaitanya. See, the citation. It is not your special. It has happened before. But some who will know that. You have to verify with the person who is expert in that field. So he is expert in that field, she is expert in that field. And she prescribed very simple formula. You smear sandalwood paste all over your body, 2 or 3 days, and that sensation left. Huh? Ramakrishna is to go to the Ganga, holy Ganga, and dip himself up to this much. So much burning going on, no? He thought it is a physical something happening. And he used to cry like a simple child, Ma, I do not know why it is happening. Please, please, please. Huh? But it is the practice, and yogic practice goes to that, not listening to the mind. You move that direction, this result has come. But this reaction is a spiritual happening. It happens. If you journey to a road, a road direction, previous road direction, they will say you drive some miles, on the right side you will see one McDonald's shop. Then you know, yes, I'm going in this McDonald's. But McDonald's shop not is your goal. Then you say on the left side you will find a school building. Like that, no? So similarly in spiritual life, there is a journey till you will meet this, you will meet that, you will meet that. But is it your exclusive, or some other holy people have the same experience or not? That is the point what is saying. It's fickle-mindedness, or it is that genuine experience come in your life which was previously verified by in someone's life, and you are another example of that. Then you know I'm in the right direction. So fickle-mindedness continues. Even controlled mind people, they should not be proud that we have conquered our mind. There is this chance of being deluded again. So, for by doing so, even very powerful personages have lost all their spiritual powers. When they go in that direction, ego comes and see, very difficult. If 20 people comes and flatters, 20 flatterers come around you and say, hey, 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 you are a avatar, ah, ha, ha, you are a holy person, ah, ha, ha, you are this age, and you can make a fan club. And tomorrow you will be an avatar. Who is Ramakrishna? You are an avatar, you are Ramakrishna. You are Rama, you are Krishna, you are everything, no? And their followers, they say, my Babaji, he is a God himself. He is this is. So compare immediately. And that is no test. You are spending your spiritual energy which you have done practice. It has come because of your practice of spiritual concentration. The power you gained, it is spent. Money you have earned, you are draining out that money. And when it will be exhausted, you get power. Then people will understand you are a bad guy, and then all the newspaper will say, and sometimes you can go to jail and say, I am a Brahmajnani, but they're putting me to jail. These are warning. The Bhagavad is warning. It is. I'm not talking about Vedanta book to disregard this point, saying that yes, you can get yogic power, but to control that and to hold on, and for higher purpose, pure, more pure. That's why Ramakrishna's prayer. Every time he said, Mother, I do not want anything. I don't want creature comfort. I don't want name. I don't want fame. Ma, I am your child. Please help me. I don't want. Don't want. There is a book which has come out, what is Swami, what is called? Sorry, Boston Swami. What is his name?
Yogananda.
Not before.
Sarvagatananda.
Sarvagatananda. That is
Practical, being
be
spiritual,
practical,
staying practical.
Stay practical, be spiritual, stay practical. In that he is always saying, always say, I am nothing, oh mother, I am nothing, and oh mother, you do everything, whatever you want to get it to do. That means you reduce your ego to such a level, let his force work through you. Then you are not affected. But the people who keep that ego, I did it, it's my control, my management, my this, and then you have to take the burden. So that's why they lose their spirituality, they lose their power they gain, and it goes on this way.
But now as you are talking to us, you are spending spiritual power also.
Huh?
Now as you are talking to us, you are also spending.
No. Spiritual power is that how you spend your energy is the question. If someone thinks I am giving you good knowledge, then you will have to spend. But if I know I am a pauper, I am not giving anything.
You spend.
I am reading the book and trying to understand. So I will not be affected by that. And nothing comes to me. Nothing goes from me, and nothing comes to me. So because I know that I am reading this book, I am trying to understand as much as my mind can help me. And I am sharing with you all. So those powerful people, they can give something. Vivekananda, when he speaks, he gives something. That's why they get exhausted. After again they sit for meditation and come. Swami Vivekananda used to say, I need some time now. And he wants to go to solitude and steep in meditation. Because that is for the good of the world. He has no motivation of anything. But still, body-mind functions. It has its own level of exhaustion. So a yogi who trusts his mind too much, like a husband who does so in regard to an unfaithful wife, or a husband, wife, etc. The fickle mind might betray him into the hands of his enemies like lust, greed, and its allies. Can anyone of true discrimination put full trust in the mind, in the belief that it has come under his control? The mind, which is the root of cause of dangerous passions like lust, anger, pride, greed, sorrow, infatuation, fear, and the bondage of karma. Mind carries all this, no? Mind characteristics. Mind is holiness, love, joy, blessings, peace. These are also characteristic of mind. But other characteristic is lust is a natural tendency. Where the mind, where lust comes, it comes first in the mind. And your anger comes where? In the mind. Eh? Pride, I am such and such. Coming in your mind. Mind means your ego. No? Ego is also mind, another aspect of the mind. Greed and sorrow, all these come, these are characteristics of mind. So, and that's why they always be careful not to be take that, spend that energy for any other thing. Anything happens, you say, "Oh Lord, it is yours, it is yours, it is yours." Not me, Lord, thine and thee and thine, thee and thine. Thus though the Rishabha, it says, is a king of kings. He veiled his divine nature from vulgar eyes by assuming the attitude of a senseless man in his dress, language, and conduct. We have read that. He used to live in a austere life, he gave up the kingdom, went for a secluded life, and then to be away from human personality, they created some atmosphere so that people think that don't disturb him. So he was in the dress, tattered dress, matted law, dirty, what you call the body is not smeared with ashes, this, that, so that people don't trouble. And people are thinking he's a mad guy. They mistreat him even. So that he does in dress, language, and conduct. Next, in order to show how great yogis abandon their bodies, he established himself in the perpetual consciousness of the Atman by recognizing the indivisibility of the Atman into the seer and the sin, and thus overcoming even the modicum and tendencies he had assumed for the blessing of the world. So then also he showed by his life that in a yogi, how can they abandon their body? This body, giving up the body is not a big deal for them. They can detach from that. And he established himself in the perpetual consciousness. How one yogi just can give up total identity from, because the mind is so pure and they have not spent the mind in wrong areas. After you realize Brahman, then you spend. Then spending is not yours. You are connected in the hotline and then supply line. In the supply line, there is no loss of electricity. No? When you step down transformer, it comes to it. If there is some leakage here and there, then the power will not flow. But when it's connected with the high voltage line, so you are unconcerned about it. The world will get benefit by that type of holy people. Then you not have to think of that they are doing anything because their ego is totally lost. Main thing is that mind should be made pure, pure, pure. And mind with meditation and prayer, when some yogic powers may come, great miraculous things may happen to your life. But don't pay attention to that. Give it to God, give it to God, so that, oh Lord, it's not me, thou. Then it gets, the mind becomes so pure, it gets absorbed in God consciousness, the Atman. And when you reach that Atman, you can then forget about the body. That is the giving up the body. And reaching that point of absorption, that's what we call samadhi or other thing. When you really come back from that, you are a new person. You have transformed personality. You become a saint, you become a sage, And then there is no fear then. But fear is still there. They don't make any mistake to put their mind that they are identifying themselves with the body and their powers and their achievements and failures. Thus, though he was king of kings, he veiled his divine nature from vulgar eyes by assuming the attitude of a senseless man. Next, in order to show how great yogis abandon their body, He established himself in a perpetual consciousness of the Atman by recognizing the indivisibility of the Atman into the seer and the seen, and thus overcoming even the modicum of tendencies he had assumed for the blessing of the world. So, whatever he did, it is only for the good of the world. Is their life, they live. Gyanis live in the world, for their purpose is done. They live around Jivan Mukta. We'll read that. Jivan Mukta, why they roam around in the world? For the good of us. We see an example. Here is a person who is established in the knowledge and see how he is always ever free. In any situation, they are free from all worries, anxieties. Their face smiles always in the face of the deepest challenge, face of deepest trouble. They are unperturbed. How they remain? Because they have touched the ground. So that is an example for others, an inspiration for others. Without connection with even the linga sarira, when it's the subtle body, but the mere remaining momentum left in the impulsion given by Yogamaya, his body traveled all over the land. A Jivan Mukta Purush, after attaining that fulfillment, then he roams around in the world freely, without any uh, fear or without any achievement to be have, or without any expectation of anything, without fearlessly they move around. And then and reach the region of Konka, Venkata, and Ketugo included Dakshina, Karnataka. Then we see wandered around, and these are the names of the old places of South India. And then he reached the point, south, Dakhin, east is not south, south Karnataka. Now Karnataka, south Karnataka, he reached. There he traveled in the forests at the foot of the mountain and known as Kuta Kid Kadri, like a goon, with the mouth filled with stones, hair disabled and stark naked. Once a forest fire broke out there by the mutual rubbing of the bamboos in a strong wind, the whole forest along with his holy body was burnt into that fire. So he was traveling there, and one there it became a bonfire, and he was in between that fire, and his body was burned that way. Then, what is the significance of the life of this great Rishabha? In the evil age of Kali Yuga, the king of Konka, Venkata, and Kutaka, this the forest fire, the first fire happened, South Karnataka, happening to hear about the doing of the Rishabha that transcended the conduct of all ashramas. He had conquered the other phases of life, Brahmacharya, Garastha, becoming a king, ruling the country, then took the Vanaprastha life, and then purifying the mind, not caring for anything, attain the knowledge of the self. So he become Brahm, Jivan Mukta, and then wandering, and he entered in that place, and suddenly bonfire came, and he burned. He left his body in that way. So the conduct of all the ashramas he has transcended, this Rishabha, would interpret it owing to the influence of his own evil deeds of the past as connected with the school of atheism. That means some say why his body was burned like that. What is the explanation? Because he has some bad karma of the past. Because prarabdha karma that continues.
Yeah.
And that prarabdha karma, effect of prarabdha karma, cause that type of death. With a school of atheism, one type of theistic people, they believe this way. Abandoning his own faith and the way of life, leading to the state of fearlessness, he would preach his atheistic gospel, the product of his own evil brain, among his subjects. Somebody who does not respect him, he said, oh, he brought some utopian idea of his own, and he was preaching his philosophy all over. And because of that, of his own created evil mind, created thoughts, so he incurred some negativity. That's why he died that way. Hearing the preaching of this king, evil minded people of the Kali Yuga would abandon the rules of conduct laid down in the Vedas for the purification of the body and mind. Transgress the deities presented in the Kali Yuga is an example to live because people will forget their own virtues. They abandon the rules and conduct laid by the Vedas. No? We don't follow the Vedic injunctions. No? Normally, the rules and regulations of spiritual life, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, ityadi, no one follows them. So, transgress the deities and don't respect the gods and goddesses. They are in their mythical stories. No, many people don't like to think about gods and goddesses. They think these are all mythical stories. When an immature mind imagine something like Ramakrishna falling upon Makali. Most educated people of that age, at the age of Naren and Rakhal and all this, they used to think that he's a crazy guy. He's a good man, but he's crazy for Makali. That what type of queer lady standing on her husband and then making the tongue out and skull here and this and that. What type of so people criticize them and they think they are in Kali Yuga, they don't have any trust. There is Narayana or Ganesha in Hindu tradition, but in every tradition there will be some celestial entity to bless, no? Who gives you all in Christianity? Who is that saint? You remember and you get your lost things quickly. What is it? Huh?
Saint Michael.
Saint Martha? So you lose any keys or any money somewhere in a wallet, you remember the saint and the saint will give you. That day one of the nuns were saying, I lost this and I was searching here and there and there. And then I remember the saint and I got it. So, but they believe, they're right or wrong, maybe you may say, not very rational thing. You got it. It is coincidence. No, you remembered and you found it. No, but faith is faith. They believe there is a divine entity who can help us this way. No, but in this Kali Yuga, people will not like that. They don't have trust in gods and Vedas and scriptures. Prefer mean forms of worship concocted by the evil brains. They to go to the practices which is not straightforward practice. There are different crooked practices. They try to go to that and that. Ramakrishna said, love God. Very simple. Spiritual life is very simple. Not to think about this way, that way, that way, that. There are ways, there may be ways, but be straight. But people will not be following those straight paths. Give up purificatory rites like bath, and achamana. They don't believe that you have to take a shower or you have to, before going into the temple, do the achamana. Every time you see our pujarin is done, they sip the water, Om Vishnu, Om Vishnu, Om Vishnu. These are rituals to purify the mind. It's all training of the mind. They don't believe. What is the need? I don't need to think of follow all this procedure. So what they do? They take a straight cut path or their path, what chosen by their impure mind. Pure mind should what? You be a student first. Learn things and then transcend the school. A student enters into the grade 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. After come out, then you get higher, PhD. Then you can come to be a teacher of the school. But first, when you're a student, you cannot behave like a teacher. So this is the confusion in Kali Yuga. We give advice too much, but no one follows the advice. We don't listen to the scriptures, what they say. We do what in our own practice. In most of the places I find, after initiation and things, how is going on? They say all types of things. I say, oh my God, what is this? Now I do this first and do that first and do that. Third, this, fourth, this, how many? Oh, is it? Then what? All together, everything is done in his own way. That means he has read something, done something, but not following, not to be a student first. But you were creating your own confusion in the path of journey. You have to be schooled. As a child gets schooling. And the school we call school because it's schooling of the mind. And then you learn something, then with a pure mind or trained mind, you then can guide others. So in this Kali Yuga, that does not happen. That's why saying they don't believe in, they adopt practices of plucking the hairs on the head. That means they don't practice prayer and meditation. They start plucking the hair. That is their spirituality. And refuse to accept the Vedas. They don't believe the Vedas. In India, there was a time when young educated people were trained to think that Vedic literature, Vedas, were the music of an uncultured, uncivilized, and what's called um, agriculturist or illiterate people's idea. Vedic chanting, what we think, oh, Vedic chanting we should learn, no. Brahmin only can learn. But for them, Vedic chanting or learning Vedas were these are uncultured people's actions. The custodians of the Veda and the God and God that the Veda reveals, they don't believe in the Vedas. They don't believe that this practicing this Vedic forms you can attain some experiences of life. They would find satisfaction in following superstitious practices fabricated by their own brain without any Vedic support. That means always that's why what we do, we should always see that it matches with the scriptures. That's why we are doing sadhana, we should follow the instruction and see whether it is matching with the experience of Sri Ramakrishna, our ancient teachers. It has happened in their life. As I give the example, this example said that Bhairavi Brahmani, she recognized immediately and said, "Oh, this type of thing has happened in the life of Sri Chaitanya, and I know the cure." No? So this is a fact, very fact. Then you know it is not craziness. It is happening because of spiritual of such. But in the end, they would fall into the utter darkness. They're following their own path. It is called a person trying to reach a destination, ask some blind person to guide them, and the blind guiding the blind, they get lost. No, so this happens in spiritual life. One life goes away. Life is very precious, but this life goes away in some such areas. In some such areas where there no spiritual growth happens, and this trust in the scriptures, not believing the holy people, all these things come. But then the Rishabha's avatar, a cause of people, but then is Rishabha's avatar a cause of people? Then do you think that it is avatar, the Rishabha is the avatar, and he created some evil in the society? What is its purpose? That's why it is said the purpose of Rishabha's incarnation was to show people dominated by Rajas that ritualism for enjoyments here and hereafter is not the primary teaching of the Vedas, but that it consists in renunciation, knowledge, and devotion, which bring enlightenment to the spirit. That is very important verse. So what the Rishabha showed in the life is that Avatara, who is God incarnated, his life shows that it is this life purpose of the incarnation to show to us that who we are We are dominated by rajas and tamas. If you are directed by sattva quality, there is no problem for us. But we are mostly, predominantly rajas or tamas. Sattvika quality, rajasika and tamasika. We are all constituted in the three. Someone is dominantly sattvika, some is dominantly rajasika, some is dominantly tamasika. So those people who are dominant in rajas and tamas, for them, this incarnation shows that this ritualism, if you utilize for enjoyments here or hereafter, in this life or after death, many people do, no? Many people do charity, do good work. Why? I shall go to heaven. Meaning what? Why are you going to heaven? That means your concept is that you are not satisfied with the enjoyment and fun what you have here. In heaven, you will get only fun and fun and fun. No disease, no old age, no suffering, no earning money, nothing. Free food, free lodging, feeding, eating, singing, dancing, whatever you like, all free, 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 free. And you will be enjoy as much as you can. That means our concept of heaven is a pleasurable place where no minus suffering, all the enjoyments. Is it good? Because you forget God. Totally you forget God. But rather you remember God here, because when you get knocks and blows, then you know, oh, why it is happening to me, oh Lord. No? But when all the time in fun and joy, in the festive days, do you have any time for thinking of anything else? Very fun, full of joyful day, no? In heaven it's not good, that's why spiritual people does not fit. Ultimately, God is the goal, not the heaven. Heaven is a temptation, ground of temptation, to hold you long and arrest you there. So here it says the ritualism, if it is what you have done in life, austerity you have done, you have meditated, you have done all these things, if it is used for enjoyments here, either here or hereafter in the heaven, is not the primary teaching of the Vedas. Again and again, see Ramakrishna says gospel, here you see thousands of years ago, Bhagavatam is saying the same teaching. It is not for enjoyment, that is not the essential teaching of the Vedas. What is that? But that it consists in renunciation. Tyagenoiko amritatta manasu. Tyago, only tyago, renunciation, detachment. There is peace. And that's why Vairagya Satakam is there, no? In the 1,100 verses of the Vairagya renunciation. He's saying everything is haunted by fear. You have money, there is a fear of losing the money. You have beauty, you can get lost, your beauty will be lost. You have your youth, losing your youth. No? Anything material world you gain, there is a fear of losing. But when you say, I don't care for anything, you are free. You don't care for anything, you don't want it, you don't want anything, and someone brings a big gift for you. But what will happen? You will accept it, but you are not perturbed by that. You are not attached to that, or you are not repulsive to that. Both. Repulsion is also, that means you have likes and dislikes. You have to go beyond likes and dislikes. I like only God, which is beyond all likes and dislikes. So the purpose of Rishabha's life is to show that Vedas say your life is meant for renunciation, not for fun and enjoyment and just live the life lost into wilderness. And meaninglessly our life goes. 100 years, look at our life. We have spent how many years of our life? How meaningfully we have lived the life, and how foolishly spending our time we have lost it. So here, the Rishabha, being an avatar, his presence was the meaningfulness is that this is the meaning. Meaning is that It is to teach, not the fun. Because he was the king, so king of India. So what type of pleasure you want? What type of enjoyment, experience of uh, worldly life you can lead? So, climax of it. Attaining that, he's saying, no, this is not the path. Renunciation is the path. That's why that it consists in renunciation, knowledge, jnana, devotion, bhakti, and that bhakti which brings enlightenment to the spirit. That is the goal, which is the Gita, with the Bhagavad, with the scriptures established. Rishabha, he himself demonstrated this. There are the following verses on the subject. Among 7 continents of this earth, surrounded by 7 seas, Bharata Varsha is the most holy. It is said that, and that's why Swamiji praised about this. The India is so great because say Aho Bhuvo Sapta Samudra Taya Deepeshu Varsheshu Adhi Puspameta Gayanti Jatro Tajjana Murari Karmani Bhadrani Avatara Gunti. So he says that there are the following verses when among the 7 continents of the earth, surrounded by the 7 seas, Bharatavarsha is the most holy. Here people enthusiastically sing about the Lord's incarnation. That is true. You will not find a country like India, that Bharatavarsha. Whatever may be the political turmoil going on the surface, but you go to Ganga, you go to sea. I saw in the newspaper this very severe cold. People can, so much wind, and people can die. But throngs of people, men and women from different parts of India, all went to Makara Sankranti. They're taking a dip in the Bay of Bengal, where there is a temple of Kopila Muni. Kopila Muni is Kopila is the Sankhakar, the founder of the Sankha philosophy. His ashram is there. And in that isolated land, it's difficult to reach there by boat and this and that. And they're not well equipped like we have in America, we have winter garment. But in India, they come from ordinary clothing like that, and they take it deep in this cold. That's the, you can go through on the bank of Ganga, you move on the bank of Jamuna. You go on, take a boat and see temples after temples after temples. Not your all are Brahmoganis, but see, they're praying and chanting the whole time of the Ganga, the ghats, filled with some people bathing this time, some people bathing that time. No, that is the point. The people enthusiastically sing about the Lord's incarnations and his sportive actions. The line of Priyabrata is famous for his holy tradition. Priyabrata means line of Priyabrata is that we are talking about. What is his name? Rishabha. For it is in that line the Supreme Being, the Lord, took his birth and demonstrated the dharma of one seeking liberation. Who seeks liberation among so many paths? Rishabha showed that path. Which yogi can even in his imagination follow this path followed by Rishabha? Which yogi can do that? All yogis only try to obtain a little of these psychic powers, which Rishabha Deva threw away as a dirt. He didn't care for that. Ramakrishna threw away. This account of Rishabha, which reveals the greatness and the truth about the Vedas, the higher worlds, devas, holy men, spiritual duties, has the power to remove all sins and is the source of everything auspicious. So, what is the meaning of Rishabha's life? That was the question. No? Question is that it is this Rishabha's life reveal the greatness of and the truth about Vedas. The Vedas are true. Vedic revelations are true. Vedic experiences you can also have. His life demonstrates, like Ramakrishna's life. What does it demonstrate? God is there. It is a question for us. How much we hear But still we think that, yeah, is there. In our trials and tribulations, then we doubt this question. But go to Ramakrishna. I have seen him. I see more tangibly than the hand I am holding it. No. So what is the diet? Swami Vivekananda said, if you have the experience, the whole world will come with a sword in hand to chop your head. But still you will say, no, I have seen him. Conviction is so strong. So, and is the source of everything auspicious, spiritual good. Whoever hears this or marks others, make others hear, with a mind devoted and concentrated, will attain to higher and higher stages of devotion to Him who is self-dependent and the support of all. So I will have, by listening to this, by reading this, by talking about this, mind will be rising higher and higher and higher in devotion to God. That means God, our devotion to God will increase. The wise men, finding their spirit suffering from the heat of sins, pertaining to the life of samsara, the miseries arising from the physical and supramundane causes, trying to assuage themselves from that heat by bathing in the nectar of God's love. So those who are scorching in their life's problem, if they soak themselves in this divine story of the Rishava, then their life will be soothed. The bliss arising from the devotional experience is such that they reject even moksha. If they go in devotion more and more, they don't even care for moksha liberation. Consider the highest value of jiva, which comes automatically to them as a result of their bhakti discipline. Practicing bhakti, they don't care about mukti. But mukti comes automatically to them. Liberation comes. Rather than getting merged in Him, they prefer to continue in the core of bhakti experience, the consciousness that they are the Lord's own. 18. Instead, rather, as we say in Vedanta, merging into the absolute is the ultimate goal. But these bhaktas don't want to merge, as Ramakrishna said. They want to keep a distance, to enjoy the bliss. That's why they don't care for mukti, total liberation, total annihilation. Rather, they keep their little ego, little like standing here on the threshold, enjoying the infinite bliss of God. That they don't care. They said, I don't want your liberation. Ramakrishna said, Ma, don't make me unconscious. I want to live with bhakti and bhakta, devotion and the devotees. So that is the state. Rather than getting merged in Him, they prefer to continue to the core of bhakti experience, the consciousness that their Lord is their own. O King, the Lord Krishna is the master, teacher, visible deity and leader for you, and Pandavas of the Jodhas. Nay, He has ever been your servant, acting as a messenger and the charioteer. So be it. He grants mukti to those who worship Him, but seldom bhakti, that intense loving devotion to the devotees. He can give mukti, that's why I sing the song Ramakrishna sang. I don't care to give mukti to anyone, but I am very particular about to give it. Liberation is easy, but bhakti is very difficult. Now, salutations to the Lord Rishava, to the exalted being, who on account of his constant consciousness of the inherent bliss of the Atman, is absolutely indifferent to everything else. To that exalted being who out of his mercy declared the truth of the Atman, the one refuge for all fears, to men caught up in the sleep of body consciousness and utterly oblivious of their own ultimate goal. So ultimately we respect the sage Rishava, who is exalted being, for the purpose that he has shown the path, that on account of his constant consciousness, he lived in the consciousness of the inherent bliss in the Atman all the time. and was absolutely indifferent what is happening outside world. Whether the body is getting burnt in a bonfire, or he is in the smeared with the ashes, in the heat and in the cold, he was oblivious of everything. And that Rishabha, we salute him, is standing as an example in uh, the life of all of us. That was the purpose of his coming. He was a king, that was not important, but he was an exemplar of the attainment of the wisdom. How one can attain to that wisdom, how we can go to the stages of life and reach that extreme love for God, detached from everything, and get merged into that. It is possible, and it is matching with the Vedic wisdom. How to regenerate the Vedic. সেই জন্য Shankaracharya said in the commentary, বৈদিক ধর্ম প্রবর্তন, for the establishment of the Vedic religion. So to establish, yeah, Rishabha was born and he exemplified the life before the humanity. So we here ends the 6th chapter. That means 5.6.19 we end here. Next day we'll start the chapter 5.7.1. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. So we'll have another class at 7:30 here, and before that we'll have, today is Swami Sharadananda birthday, so there will be some short reading after the what you call this Arati, evening prayer, and we'll see if there is some question, if I can answer to them. You have to go? You know, you down, I will select.
One second.
I will select myself.
আচ্ছা।
কটা আছে?
না, দুটো। আরেকটা নেই।
When we are close to freedom, not only do we not seek heaven, we also have little concern if we are reincarnated or not. It does not matter too much to us whether we are reborn or not, because we are always with God. When we are close to freedom, not only do we not see heaven, you also have a little concern. If you are in plantation, incarnation or not, it does not matter too much to ask whether we are reborn or not, because we are always with God. When we are one, I do not know what is this question. Is the end of the question? Don't go on writing, then I cannot read. You should put the question, what you ask. I don't get the question actually. Oh, it is my response is getting here. Oh, but where is the question? I have to hold it. When you are close to freedom, not only do we not seek heaven, we also have little concern if we are reincarnated. How can you? If you are close to freedom, if you reach that state of freedom, where is the question of your reborn? That question does not come. When you are ultimately freedom, you understand freedom. Freedom is so great and so powerful, everything becomes insignificant. Your heavenly joy or pleasure is insignificant drop of joy in front of the ocean of joy. So freedom is infinite joy. So I don't think that you need to think about reincarnation. If you can reincarnate after freedom, after liberation, total liberation, that's your choice. That also God's wish. We call the Ishvara Koti. Like we are reading the life of Sharat Maharaj. Sharat Maharaj is Ishvara Koti. I do not know, I forgot who. Ramakrishna.
He was Peter. Shalfar is Peter.
Solomon is in the Christ, Jesus Christ. Anyhow, so they are extraordinary people. They are for the good of the world. By God's will, they are born. But like people, you or me, if we get freedom, never to come back. Why will you come back? If you get $1 billion, well, you'll be coming back to search for $5 to get a McDonald's food. So, the meditation becomes unimpeded when practiced alone. So should we only practice in solitude, or can we try to do when we visit Vedanta center during puja? You know, puja is a different atmosphere. When you come, there will be singing, there will be chanting, there will be all types of rituals will go on. But meditation means really you are wanting to keep your mind very calm. Even this will appear to be a distraction. But those who are distracted, this will help you, because when you come here, you see they listen to the mantras, you see to the chanting of the songs, and you also join singing with them. All these help you to forget your otherworldly thoughts. So that is helpful. But if you want to really deepen your spirituality, and as you said, meditation becomes unimpeded when you are lonely, alone. Yeah, that's true, because there is no distraction when you are advanced. But if you are not advanced, you go to only solitude, then you sleep more. Or you fight with your mind goes here and there. You are not actually, you are trying to control, but you are not so much advanced. So you go in a solitude, and then your mind rotates in your old past thoughts and ideas, or it falls asleep because very tired. So this is helpful. Puja, the place of worship, the single bhajan going on, singing going on, they are helpful to people who are really that didn't find any time to concentrate, to come to a place, holy place, or wherever God's name that is holy, and go and settle, and your mind will be settled. That is helpful. Take that mind to a solitude. Next, that will help you. But just a troubled mind and going into the isolated place will not bring much benefit, rather it may create trouble. Okay? Okay, so thank you. Then we'll see you again, 7:30 as I said, but before that, 6 o'clock is evening prayer, and then around 6:20, 6:25, there'll be reading, and then little meditation, maybe, or you may not have time of meditation. Then we'll a little gap, and 7:30 we'll come back with the Jivan Mukti Gita.